The Metropolitan of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of the Moscow Patriarchate, Arseny of Sviatohirsk-Lavra, recently appealed to the UK government, claiming Orthodox Christians are being oppressed in Ukraine. Ukraine's security service, SBU, has recently found him guilty of passing on locations of Ukrainian military checkpoints to churchgoers, allegedly using these sermons to discreetly communicate with the enemy. We've heard this narrative before. Orthodox Christians under attack in Ukraine. But now even the English Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, seems influenced, expressing concern and claiming to monitor the situation. While it's expected for the Archbishop to call for peace, his alignment with the narrative shows how the English Church can sometimes fall prey to Russian hybrid influence under the guise of religious freedom. He's even reportedly tried to persuade President Zelensky to ditch the law now in place, aimed at banning Russian church influence in Ukraine, suggesting that Ukraine's measures in the war are leading to disproportionate. A similar narrative to what we see from the Vatican, where the Pope has occasionally, seemingly, sided with Russia. So why does this happen? Why does the West fall for this narrative? In the West, religion is often seen as pure, sacred, and free from political manipulation. People assume that the Russian Orthodox Church must also be free of such control, that no one would ever dare corrupt such goodness of religion with something as evil as hybrid warfare. But as any rational observer knows, the Russian Church is merely an instrument of the Kremlin's oppressive, imperialistic ambitions. For years, the Ukrainian Orthodox Church under Moscow Patriarchate has served as a tool of Russian hybrid warfare, which is one of the reasons this war and former annexation of Ukrainian land was made possible. The Kremlin has used religious institutions to spread influence, destabilize Ukraine, and divide Ukrainian society. Here's a great example of how different the West and Russia see religion. Have you ever seen a Western priest bless ballistic missiles before being launched at civilians, especially a missile called Satan? Nope, but it does happen in Russia. Still unsure of Russian influence? Consider these next cases. Priest at Sviatohirsk-Lavra, Donetsk Oblast, collaborated with Russian forces, provided information and shelter to soldiers during the occupation of Donetsk. Archpriest Mikhail Zinchenko, arrested for passing intelligence on Ukrainian troop movements to the Russian military in Donetsk. And the clergy in Crimea, supporting Russian annexation of Crimea and endorsing military actions, promoting the idea that Crimea is rightfully Russian. So Metropolitan Arseny's case is a prime example. Despite his claim of innocence, his actions and the power he works for, the Kremlin, not a higher power, tells a different story. The UK and the West needs to understand that Ukraine's measures aren't about suppressing religion. They're about safeguarding national security from Kremlin influence, masquerading as religious devotion. Only doing so strengthens Ukraine's defense and the future of its Western democratic integration. Cutting off the head of the snake, the Kremlin's grip on religious institutions in Ukraine, is the only way to prevent it from slithering unnoticed and poisoning Ukrainian society, and also many of the Christians in the West who fall for this propaganda.